Many children speak in different languages at school, at home, and with their friends. This video series aims to help educators understand how different languages shape our understanding of a place, a group of people, and the individual child. How formal and everyday use of different languages shape children's confidence to express themselves. How the way we teach shapes children's language skills and spontaneous use of different languages. How a whole school must work together when a child's natural language of comfort is different from the school language. This is a self-learning video series. It is organized into 4 modules. Each module is made up of 4 units, covering specific themes related to multilingualism. This is the first module in our series. We will be covering interesting themes such as diversity in language and identities associated with language. In our everyday world, some of the languages we use are often thought of as more prestigious. Some languages become dominant, while others are marginalized. In multilingual environments, children could code switch. They do this by mixing 2 languages into one sentence or saying the first sentence in one language and the next in another. You may be teaching children who speak in different languages. Therefore, your aim as you work through this module should be to recognize what happens when different languages are associated with different levels of prestige. As you work through this module, please reflect on the following. Languages are often placed on a hierarchy of prestige. A child's language learning is impacted when the school and home languages are associated with high and low prestige. Children respond to the languages they know being treated differently. The monolingual rule is common in many schools, but simple techniques can be used to demonstrate that a school values all the languages spoken by its children.
You know, Parthaji, in my old school, I used to choose the most popular child in the class to be the class monitor, even if they were naughty children themselves. I have learnt by trial and error that most children are happy to take instructions from a popular child.
Yes, and just like how popular children and their opinions are valued by their peers, a few languages too become more popular than others and are extensively used. These are called dominant languages.
But just like popular children sometimes bully children quieter than themselves, don't dominant languages do the same thing? Push other languages to a less prominent place?
Yes, sometimes the dominant language of a locality may replace other languages in schools and offices. When this happens, the language that is not valued becomes a marginalized language. In schools like ours, the language of teaching and assessment is often in the dominant language. At home, parents may decide to use their own language less to allow their children to practice the language they learn at school.
That's sad. Because when children stop using their home languages, they start forgetting them. Sometimes this loss is gradual and at other times dramatic. But fast or slow, this loss leads to language attrition, and so many beautiful languages of our country are forgotten.
That's why I let children express words and ideas in their home languages and answer their questions without calling out their mistakes. The other day, a cat got stuck in a tree.
Sir, come fast. Cat atka on ped.
The cat is stuck in the tree. Okay, we will now have to help the cat to come down. We need to find a ladder. Tell me, what is a cat called in your language?
Billy.
बिड़ाल
Bekku.
बिलारी
I also try and use multiple local languages for my teaching material and mark children leniently.
The last school where I taught insisted that we make the children speak only in the school language or the medium of instruction. They were not allowed to borrow words from other languages. The school imposed a monolingual rule.
Don't you feel that such a rule favors one language over the other? Places the dominant language on top of a prestige hierarchy? It also makes children lose interest in their home language and value people less at home. People like grandparents who may not know the school language. When a school values all the languages its children are familiar with, then you notice several things. For example, learning materials are made available in multiple languages. A Shabdmaja display board placed in the library, a busy corridor, or a classroom can really help do this.
I was thinking that perhaps the different language groups in a classroom could make a display board each. This board could include articles of everyday use or the food they eat at home.
That's a great idea. We could also take popular oral narratives from our area and weave them into the stories that we share with children.
We could also invite speakers of different languages to meet our children and teach them a song or a few words. Children learn new words so easily.
We could include a few words and ideas from the children's home languages into the language of the classroom. For example, children could be encouraged to share proverbs or idioms that they hear at home. Bandar kya jane adrak ka swad.
नाचूक करणं अंगण वाकडे.
खेड्यानं दवड वागडतक कांतक डासन जासी.
All that glitters is not gold.
Teachers can show that they value the home languages used by children by pronouncing their names correctly. Rahul Sharma,
Present, Miss.
Sunita Murmu,
Present, miss.
Neelu Manchanda,
Present, miss.
Jhario Oraon,
Present, miss.
Chandru Hari,
Present, Miss.
Iklavya Khatri.
Present, miss.
Or we could include the children's home languages in our language, math, and environmental science classes. For instance, I could take my class on a nature walk, ask them to name and count the birds, trees, and animals in their home languages.
Do bakri.
एक था.
दो हागरी. दो खरगोश.
I believe that the assessment of whether a child is learning or not and their fluency in a language should be kept separate. The child's understanding of a concept should not be evaluated on his or her use of correct grammar.
I agree. We should award marks for understanding the lesson, not for whether they are able to express themselves fluently in the school language.